No slurping on the podcast.
Hey!
Hello.
Hey!
Hey! Whoa, look at your back wall full of supplies. That looks so cool.
Yeah! It's so great to
So
see you
profesh.
again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's amazing. Yay!
Hi.
Hey!
Hi. I'm gonna join in on the head thing here.
Whoa, look at those giant
Look at
headphones.
this.
Nice.
That's
It
amazing.
looks legit. What the heck?
So how's it going?
It's going.
It's going.
I feel
Long
like I
time no
haven't
see.
seen. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you, either of you, in. I don't even know how long. It's been.
It's probably been since what, Christmas 2019?
At,
Maybe.
At Make It.
Maybe.
yeah.
I don't even know. It seems like so long ago.
Or that one of a kind show, but it must have been a long time ago because you guys didn't do it that 1 year, right? Wait, I don't know.
The last
don't
time
know.
that we did it was right before the store opened here, so that was 2 years ago. So I think 3 years ago. I think you're right. It would have been the Toronto One of a Kind show. So
Wow.
it's been a hot minute.
3 years.
Guys.
Wow.
Now
Yeah.
you got a podcast, you got a store, you got a printing company. That's
So
Yeah.
many.
everything.
You know, because I love to do way too much than I can handle.
That's Diana too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a
It's
tendency
fun.
to do that, Diana?
I do.
She's got, what do you have on the go right now? Like 6 different
And
things
so
going?
many things. I like it until I can't handle it, and then I'm like freaking out. But when I can handle it, life is great.
Yeah. That's fun. Like, I love being in the weeds.
Yeah.
Do you know what that term means, in the weeds? Anybody? You all look so
Obviously
confused.
not.
I'm just like, yeah, totally.
Awkward laughter.
It's
Yeah.
like it's a restaurant term, and servers typically use that term for being like super discombobulated and totally out of sorts. In the weeds means like I am totally overwhelmed, is basically what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So like
yeah.
being in the seaweeds and having that icky feeling on your toes. that sort of
Oh,
thing?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah. You just want to get out. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Exactly. So what's going on? What's cooking?
Well, I guess we're here chatting with you. What have we been up to lately, Diana? We just finished a big order for a book subscription company that was just a whirlwind. It was a last minute order, and
Mhm.
we were up until the wee hours of the morning finishing that up, and so now we have some breathing room again. But yeah, not much, just trying to get through COVID and
Mhm.
stay sane.
So what made you stay up so late? Is there like a super tight deadline, or?
Yeah, it was a last minute project. They had a different item that couldn't go through with it, I guess. And so they asked us if we could do it within, I don't know, was it a few weeks or something?
2 weeks or something like that. Yeah.
And it's a lot. It was, how many did we make? I can't remember, 4,000 of them.
Yeah. In about
And
Wow.
yeah, it was a lot. We made it in literally the nick of time. Like it was crazy.
we had finished making them. We were packaging them actually outside on Diana's balcony, our bookmarks, and it was expected that the UPS was going to come pick it up at after 3:30, And we luckily finished at like 105, and all of a sudden at 106, the UPS guy comes up her staircase and is like, "Oh, we're here."
It was
Here to take
crazy.
your items.
I was like taping the box, right? And we're like, oh, we're done right now. Like, just wait. We just need to like put the labels on and all that. And
Oh my gosh, the
very
hustle is
stressful.
real.
Yeah, and Diana's family was helping her like the night before with the packaging, and yeah, it was. I don't know why we do that. We could have said no, but we really wanted that project.
So this is a
I'm
pretty.
always,
Sorry, Etienne, go.
well, I'm always impressed to hear, like, when you said 4,000, to me, like hearing 1,000 of anything is always so impressive.
I know, we're always so happy that we can accomplish a bigger quantity like that and still be like handmade and not, shipping it from China somewhere, or, so we take pride that we can still manage to make that many in the comfort of our homes.
I don't know. I often forget how much like 4,000 is. I'm like, yeah, like we can do it. And then like even just counting up to 4,000 takes so long. So like every single step just takes way more time than you expect. And yeah, then you realize, oh shoot, it's due tomorrow. Like we're not ready yet.
So do you have like different equipment that you use if you're doing like higher output, or do you always use the same kind of equipment?
Yeah, so if we're doing like higher quantities or we're just doing production to stock up on a bookmark design or something, we have a few like little machines. We actually have 4 of them. And of course, during this project, 3 of them were not working properly. So we had to just rely on one or two kind of to bump out these bookmarks. But yeah, we have like a little, it kind of does it like a die cut almost. And then if we have quantities of like, 15,000 or something like that, we have a local company in Vancouver that helps us die cut them in big quantities. So yeah, so that's what we use. We used to in the beginning, many years ago, and kind of still now, cut everything by hand. And that was not, that was fun to do. That is fun to do, but it's not actually the most efficient, if you might imagine. So
yeah, especially 4,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And weren't you cutting some of them by hand because the machine wasn't working for a bit? You're like,
yeah, I was, because they just were not behaving. Like, so I had to start cutting a few by hand. But yeah, no,
I can't even imagine the blisters.
oh yes, we both have them. Like,
yeah, we have like little.
it won't go away. It's just there.
It's our battle scars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, we used to do it all by hand, and then I think it must have been like the beginnings of one company who wanted us to have like a really big order, and it kind of forced us, well, especially Diana, because she knows more about that stuff, to find somebody in Vancouver who would be able to mass cut essentially a big order. And then ever since then, we've kind of used that method instead of, just hand cutting or the machine to get bigger orders done. So it forced us to grow.
Yeah.
Which is what it's all about.
Totally. And
Yeah.
so, I've known both of you for a very long time. And like, I know that you started with craft fairs, but at what point did you decide that it was time to kind of break out of the craft fair market and go more into retail and then eventually e-com?
Well, we actually have been on Etsy, which is one of the online market or store areas that we use since 2015, I think. But
2017.
2017.
No,
But
no.
I think last year or the year before, you know how much fun craft fairs are, but also how exhausting they are at the same time. And so I think for me, at least, I don't know about you, Diana, but when COVID hit and then you couldn't do craft fairs anymore, like you have no choice but to focus on wholesale and, online retail, and make that work for you, because we found that our craft shows were a good chunk of our revenue, and then we didn't have that anymore. So But now, since COVID, we found in the beginning there was a lot of support from people, all around North America, just wanting to support small businesses. And we found our sales were a lot better actually last spring and summer compared to years before. And so we're like, hey, this is pretty good area to focus on. So ever since, well, that's all we've been able to do, no craft shows. So I would say last year was kind of our push to try and figure out wholesale and retail a little bit more. And
yeah, but I feel like we tried to get into stores like pretty early on in our business, like within the first year or something, but we weren't ready. Like we were pitching to stores and we'd be like, do you want to sell our bookmarks? And like our product was just not there yet. And so we got a lot of rejections. And we're just like, oh man, like maybe we shouldn't focus on that yet. And now that years have gone by and with COVID and everything, it's been a lot easier to pitch to stores. But I remember trying.
And we still get rejected all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the product is a lot more finessed, our packaging and kind of our story and what we aim to do with the bookmarks. It's a bit easier to pitch to stores. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, Diana's the designer of Crafted Van, as you might know. She designs everything, and she busted out an amazing wholesale catalog. And I think that's what also helped us get into a lot more stores because, well, do I have it around here? It's beautiful. It's like a huge magazine.
Ooh, pulling up something special here.
Right here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then we printed 1,000 of these before COVID. We're like, we're gonna pitch to all the stores. And then COVID hit and all the stores were closed. And we're like, never mind. And we have like all these catalogs.
Wow. Can you use them after all this is done?
Yeah,
That's the hope. Yeah.
Yeah, we started, what was that, in February? I started sending out just to random shops that I found might fit, our bookmarks might fit well into. And we sent out physical catalogs to them with some samples. I think the first round I sent out maybe 20 catalogs and one store ordered, but it's like, hey, it didn't take that long to send them out. And now we have a new stockist, I guess. So yeah, so more and more of them will go out eventually, but just trying to finish current things right now. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
the convenience part of those catalogs probably help because you're talking about wholesalers that are probably just as busy as you are, and being able to flip through something is a lot easier than those pitches you were talking about earlier.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be doing much cold calling anymore. Yeah, definitely the physical copy helps. So
And you kind of catch them off guard when you come into the store and like, do you want to sell our product? And they're like, oh, we're really busy right now. Like, who are you and why are you trying to pitch to us? I'm sure you would understand since you guys have a shop.
Yeah.
or it's like you're talking to like a 16-year-old kid who literally has no power over whether or not your products can get into the store. They're like, I'm just trying to get through my 8 hours. Pass this on to the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep, but it's a. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I think it's super interesting. So, I mean, before you got into the whole like wholesale thing. Actually, no, I'm going to rewind a little bit. So, first of all, I don't think we super went into like who you guys are and what you do. So, first, maybe you should tell us a little bit about what you do, because I think we kind of skipped over that. We got so excited about seeing each other again. But like, maybe just tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and then we could go from there.
Diana, you want to take this one?
Who are we? Well, me and Erica have been friends since high school, and we used to craft together for fun. And one day we're like, hey, what if we tried to sell our products or make anything? Like, we didn't know what we were going to make and see what happens. And so out of that came this business that is almost 8 years old, and it's now a whole person of its own, I guess. I don't know. We specialize in magnetic bookmarks, but when we started, we used to make anything like notebooks, knitted stuff, anything you can think of.
Ornaments.
Ornaments, yeah. But the bookmarks really stood out because we were pretty much the first person to do it on Etsy, and it really grew. And yeah, there's a huge book world out there and so many people who love reading, and they really help us grow our business because they really support what we do.
So when you say they, does this mean that neither of you are big readers? Who's the reader between you two?
Excuse me. Diana likes.
I've
Diana
been
likes.
reading,
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just.
oh, I've been reading a lot lately, but my reading is more like, I don't know, like business, like life type of reading, a lot of nonfiction. And Erica is like, she reads fiction, right? You'd say?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're both readers, I would say, and I like psychological thrillers and more fiction. I can't get into the nonfiction as of yet, but I've got a book right here that I'm reading right now. I'm telling you, and it's got a bookmark
Hey.
in it.
All right.
Oh, look at that being put.
Yeah.
to use.
But
So this is interesting to me. So you're both readers.
But no, yeah.
Does this mean that you created these out of necessity? Like, was it like one day you had this epiphany of like, these other bookmarks are crap and they keep sliding out and this little tassel doesn't really work that well? And like, was it out of necessity and just
Well,
kind of realizing that? Yeah, go ahead.
Diana made a set for like her then boyfriend as a gift initially, and they turned out super cute. So magnetic bookmarks existed already, but the whole like the character that we use with our magnetic bookmarks it wasn't really there. It was more so you'd have like a floral pattern or something very simple and square as the magnetic bookmark, but the character and the shapeliness of our bookmarks wasn't really existent, I guess, on Etsy at least. And so yeah, Diana had made some as a gift, and then we ended up selling those as well in our journey to sell crafty things.
Mhm.
And it ended up being like the best thing that sold at these little craft fairs, and then eventually online on Etsy. I think what ended up happening was a book YouTuber, she had talked about us on one of her videos, and all of a sudden, you have the Etsy app on your phone, and all of a sudden we kept hearing cha-ching, 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 and we were trying to find out why we were getting sales. What the hell? Where is this coming from? I mean, we love it, but where the hell is it coming from?
And I love that.
So, looking into
that notification sound is so great.
It is
Any maker will be watching this right now
it's
saying, yes, I
lovely.
love it.
the best sound.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So good. And yeah, so then we ended up looking online to try to find our name show up somewhere, and it ended up being this YouTuber who was quite popular online, and it kind of kicked off from there. And the more sales you have on your shop online, the more credibility you have, and it just kind of went up from there. And we did have other things on our online Etsy shop, but because the bookmarks took off and they are such a great idea, we decided to focus on that kind of niche community and take it and go. So
And it's
that's
so
kinda
addictive.
how
Like
the bookmarks started.
you make something and
Yeah.
someone buys it and you're like, oh, someone bought that? And then someone asks you to make something else, you make that and another person buys it and you're like, oh, it gets this like rush. And like we just kept on making new and new designs because people were asking for certain characters or whatever. And yeah, it just, that feeling of the cha-ching after making something and selling it, it just drives you to keep on making more and more and more. And now we have so many designs.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
one thing too is like craft fairs, like, are you going to be going back to these after, or are you going to try to do a bigger push for wholesale? What are your plans for the future?
I definitely do miss craft fairs and miss talking to people and interacting. I think we're
Well, I think we're gonna. What?
It's frozen. Is it frozen?
Oh, she's back. She's back. Here
There we go. Sorry. Was I like this? Yeah, definitely want to go back to doing a few key craft fairs for sure. I remember one year we did a craft fair road trip, or not road trip. It was kind of a road trip. We ended up doing, I think, was it a show in Edmonton, and then we flew out to Toronto. I'm sure you know the the spiel, but we went from Edmonton to Toronto, back to Calgary, back to Vancouver, and then our boyfriends were running the Vancouver shows while we were in Toronto or Edmonton,
It
and
was crazy.
like it was absolutely nuts. So we're kind of picking if we can get back to craft fairs, I hope we can just pick a few and just stay with those ones. So
I think we did 11 that year, and we
yeah, we did 11
so
shows.
dead after. Like it was.
Yeah.
I have no idea why we did 11. That's not even like it was crazy.
And big shout out to the spouses out there that help out in the booths.
Yes. That's
Uh-huh.
right. They were in the cold, I think at a market, was it downtown somewhere? I think while we
it was
were
an
not
Aletown one. It was so sweet that they were able to hold down the fort while we were away in Toronto.
yeah, freezing their asses off and asking people to buy bookmarks.
Do you do a lot of outdoor craft fairs?
No, I think that was the only winter outdoor one. And then we did the what's that one?
Car
that's
Free
on
Day.
Main Street? Car
Oh, yeah.
Free Day. Yeah. But
Mhm.
no, not generally. What about you? Do you guys do outdoor shows at all or markets?
We tried to avoid them. We had a really bad experience at one outdoor show, and it wasn't because of the craft fair itself. It was the weather. So
Oh,
funny
right.
story. It was at Main Street Car Free show, and we had a 10 by 10 tent, and we had tables on the perimeter, and it was in the middle of July. It was beautiful weather, bluebird skies, early morning setup, 8 a.m. setup or something like this. They shut, Main Street down for those of you who don't, who are watching, who don't really know it. It's like, how many blocks, ladies? Like
20 blocks or something?
20 blocks. It's
Mhm.
huge. It's a giant long street, overlooks the mountains in Vancouver. It's a beautiful location for a show. So, middle of July, it gets a little stormy sometimes out of nowhere because we live on the coast. So at about, 1 or 2 p.m., these super dark clouds roll in, and all of a sudden you hear thunder.
Oh.
And after the thunder, about 15 minutes later, it was like the skies opened up and it just like torrential downpour and crazy high winds, and literally t-shirts were flying away.
Oh no.
The tent
Oh,
was like
gosh.
waterlogged, and like the whole tent collapsed, water all over the shirts. So we were like, like
Oh my
jamming
goodness.
shit.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
And this is like a bit of a horror story. So please, those who are watching this, we'll do outdoor shows. They're amazing. But just prepare for the rain. We were not prepared at all for the rain. So
Well, no, you see beautiful blue skies in the beginning and you're like, oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to have a nice drink outside. And then, no, the drink is pouring on you.
that's right. That's right. And
Oh,
like
no.
outdoor shows in Vancouver are quite common because it's always like nice weather, right? But maybe somewhere like Edmonton where Etienne is. And like, I'm not sure if either of you know, but you may recognize Etienne from the Signatures shows.
Signatures.
And,
Yes. Looked
yeah.
into you a little bit before this.
Yeah. So do you ladies even know Etienne? Like
We've
didn't
never
even
know
think
done
of
the
this.
signatures show.
Yeah.
No, I make a habit of like visiting as many booths as I can during our shows, and this is the first time I've heard of you guys, so I had to do a little bit of an Instagram deep dive in the last couple of days. So yeah, it's great to meet you guys. And I'm just
Very
like,
nice to meet you too.
I'm in awe of like you touched on it earlier about like the sheer number of designs you have.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, like, how busy are your brains to be able to produce that many bookmarks?
Oh my goodness. No, but that's many years in the making. So it's like there's so many, but that's like 8 years of designs, really.
Do you just come up with all these ideas, write them down, and then over time start like sketching them out? Like, what's your process?
I find that especially in the very beginning, we were like obsessed. Like this business was our life. Like it was all I thought about for like I don't know how many years. And so I was always thinking of we're always thinking of different designs, and I don't know, it just came out so easily.
Mm.
And very,
And we got a lot of suggestions from like the followers online, or people messaging on Etsy and asking for different designs, so that also made it a little bit easier. I think at one time Diana we did this campaign where people sent in pictures of their like cats, and it was like, oh, send in a picture of your cat and we'll make a few cats. So now we have a big cat line, and then there's a big dog line.
There's like 10 cats that came out of that. Like,
Nice.
Yeah.
But I found that
so there's lots of inspiration.
Yeah, I found that in the last few years it's been a bit more of a harder, maybe more of a creative block, maybe because we're stuck inside and it's like less inspired, but I don't know.
Or maybe you've just designed everything, Diana.
I know, it's true. We have like 3 sloths. It's like, what? And we have otters in like every version, like 1 holding a rock, 2 holding hands. Like we just have, just a lot of designs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you did.
No, I was just going to say, like, I think it's interesting because people are attracted to different things. And something within one of those designs might finally speak to something, to somebody. It's almost like greeting cards are the same kind of way, where specific designs, that one little element that just happens to speak to the individual looking at it. And like, I've seen, Etienne, you should see their booth. It is so nice.
I wanted to bring that up too.
It is so nice. So it's like a sea of options, but the thing that I love about it is it's not cluttered. It is so well organized and so bright. Well, maybe, you're
the
biased.
part that you see. The part that you see.
Oh yeah, you should see behind the scenes.
But we got instant noodles behind the booth. We have like crap on the floor. We got fluffy socks that we're wearing. Like
that's amazing.
But I think that's fun for the buyer too. Like sometimes you think, oh, pick what, like a few key products, stick to it so they all stand out and whatnot. But I think what helps with our product is that you literally are filtering through the designs just like you would at like a music store looking at different vinyls or whatever. It's like, it's fun to find that one that speaks to you, like you said. And there is definitely something in our booth for everybody. Like there is so many designs, and not even all of them are out in the front of our booth. There's this one design, it's a squirrel, okay? And we always debate back and forth whether or not the squirrel is going to be on display at the booth. And sometimes it's not out there, but we've learned, keep a few in the back because someone's going to ask for a damn squirrel and you're going to have it. So yeah, no, I think that's the fun part, is having like, 100 designs out in the front, and people just get excited when they spot their favorite creature, their favorite bookish, thing. And it works for us, it works for our product. So
I want to know how, I want to know about the evolution of your booth design. Was it like, how did you start out, and like, how did you figure out, how to make it successful?
It has changed so much over the years. And I think for us, it's like, how much can we fit on this table? Like we use every single space you can, like we just fill it up. And that's because we want people to see that character when there's so many. How has it changed? I guess we decided to do walls because I think it's because of One of a Kind show. It kind of forced us to up level our booth. Before that, we just had a table booth and like some like foam core for our cards. And then once we got into the One of a Kind show, everyone else has walls, and you're just like, we need to figure that out, and we need to be on their level. So yeah.
Hard walls,
So
the game changer.
Game changer.
Hard wall. We didn't have a table. It was just a booth people would walk into. And then, you hear different crafters at the shows saying like, oh, like stand in your booth, look professional, etc. And for us, it sounded like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have a table. But after that one show of 11 days we were standing or sitting on a stool, it was exhausting. Like sometimes you need a bit of that table in front of your customer to be able to just like not have anxiety. So I think the next show that we had, our walls, we still ended up having a table in front, because it just helped the show for us, I guess, to be more enjoyable. So it evolved into having a table again with walls in the back.
Yeah, it helps with our energy too. Like if we're gonna be tired, if a customer, like, oh, customer, like it's not gonna help. So it's nice to have, to sit sometimes because it's exhausting.
Oh yeah.
I think every craft show organizer should provide beanbag chairs for the vendors.
Oh
yeah.
So
that would be lovely.
For those watchers who don't know, the One of a Kind show, which we've just mentioned, does have a sleeping room for the vendors.
Yes.
And I mean, it's not glamorous, but man, that little room definitely helps. Some nice little cots and some pipe and drape, I like that room.
Yeah, and it's like pitch black, and you do not talk in that room. It's luckily we're together, right? Some people do the show, alone in different stints, but we could, switch off and go and have a rest in that room. So yeah, we are very grateful for that, and also the free coffee as well.
Yeah, I remember like even when there's no beds around, I would just sit in the corner in the dark, just in silence. It was just so necessary to not have people all around you.
Yeah, like sensory deprivation room. Yeah. So what made you take the leap to do a big show such as that one? Do you find that you were ready for it at the time? Were you scared? What made you take that final leap and say, let's just apply? Yes, it costs a crap ton of money for a small vendor. Maybe at the time you two were not that small, but
we were small.
Yeah, I think for a lot of vendors, it's super, super scary to take that leap financially. It's a long show. Especially the holiday show is a long time, and I think it's really tricky for a lot of vendors out there who are making that decision to take that leap, and maybe a lot of self-doubt, and kind of not knowing what to do, because there's a lot of moving parts. There's logistics. There's, how do I set up the booth? What are the rules for setting up the booth? Like all this stuff. So maybe tell us a bit about the kind of moment that you finally figured out, okay, this is the one, let's just go for it. And how did you deal with it?
I think we eased into it because the first One of a Kind show that we did, they had that Etsy marketplace, and we had a really small table. It was
4x2 or something like that.
Yeah,
table.
It was tiny, and so that was helpful because we didn't jump directly into the walled booths. We started at that table area, and I think we were just looking for opportunities to get our stuff out there. And we love traveling, and so going to Toronto as work was like so exciting for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then once you're there with your small table booth, and then you go around and you see however many hundreds of big booths, you're like, okay, this is really, really effing scary, but that could also be super fun. Let's just effing do it. If we get in, that's amazing. Like, so I think in the end, we ended up just applying, and I think Diana does like the booth design as well and sent that in because you have to show what your booth might look like. So we ended up having I think we did, was it 3 Christmas shows in the end?
I can't remember.
Like the past few years. Yeah. And anyway, it was a whirlwind. Like I think we spent 9 hours our first setup for an actual walled booth, putting our booth together, and like over the next few years we were able to get more and more efficient at it. And yeah, it was super scary. You don't know what the hell you're doing, but if it's something you're interested in, I think one of the things that we always say is like, just do it. Don't be scared. just go for it. If it's a flop, it's a flop. You learn from it, you move on. If it's a success, then you just find ways to make it even better the next time too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
we're
jump
kind
in.
of not very we're not the most strategic kind of business. If you might be able to tell, we kind of just go into what we might think is fun, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And that one of a kind show ended up working out for us, and we really enjoyed it. And yeah, so that's kind of our thought process behind making the big jump. We just decided to do it.
Yeah.
Being at a big show like that, and surrounded by like literally hundreds of makers, wacky creative people, have you guys made any really cool connections at big shows like that?
Yeah, tons. We were always meeting people. It's so much fun. Everyone is so sweet.
Yeah, like family.
And it's kind of
for
cool
sure.
to meet. Yeah, it's kind of cool to also meet, people who are in the same kind of medium as you. So we've met like certain card companies, shout out to like Lily Cow Design in Ontario. And you just walk by their booth, you compliment them on their booth and the product, you get to chatting and often it's just nice to make connections with people who are in the same struggles and successes as you are, because obviously like being a business owner struggles all the damn time, but there's also like little successes that you can share amongst each other and tips can share amongst each other, and receive from each other, that kind of makes you want to continue growing and continue I don't know, trying out new things in your business. So we're really thankful that we have these craft fairs to be able to make those connections, because otherwise we wouldn't be doing this right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting too when you're applying for these for any show, really not knowing what to expect. And I think those relationships that you're talking about, it's, a lot of these crafters, like you said, they've been there before, and you can always reach out to these like Facebook groups or Instagram groups. Most of the time it's Facebook, but most of these craft fairs have Facebook groups. You could go in and chat with other vendors and ask them questions and bounce things off them. Most of the shows do have that kind of thing going on, which is a lot, puts your mind at rest if you're still kind of new to the game.
Yeah. And I think like that just brings to mind when we were doing the One of a Kind show for the first time and bringing our walls to Ontario from BC, we were able to chat with vendors that we met in Vancouver who already kind of knew what they were doing going to Ontario, and talk to us, or like we were able to talk to them about how to get a pallet shipped there and which company to use, which freight carrier to use. And so having those connections made makes growing and trying something else out like that much easier. We ended up we shared a pallet with a couple of vendors at one point too, and it also helps with the cost. So but yeah, it's nice to have those connections and go through the same journey with each other. That sounds freaking corny, but it's yeah.
It's a literal journey, because things are like literally being shipped across Canada. But also, I'm a corny guy. I'm not good with it. The human journey it's a real thing at these shows for sure.
Oh, you're so meta, Etienne. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah.
That's awesome. So which one of you does the social media?
Both of us. I mean, we're also kind of struggling with that right now.
Yeah, that struggle is real.
We both. It is very real. Like, I don't know. I find we go through little spurts of excitement to get different images out there. I don't know if you use Later. There's an app called Later that you can schedule things to be put out onto your Instagram. And so I think we've done it a few times this past year where we've lined up things on Later, super excited. We do photo shoots or whatever. And then there's these lulls where you're like, oh, I don't know what the hell to put up right now, because everybody else looks like so professional. Everybody's pictures are beautiful. And like, what are we going to put up now in comparison to them. But I don't know. I think Diana's very good at that in the fact that you always say like, just put some like very much about how great it looks or what exactly the content is. If you're feeling a bookmark that day or you're feeling a card that day, like just put it up. Like, and I think that I should do a lot more of, but it's a struggle. So yeah.
Yeah, like that's how we originally organically grew, because we just posted anything we wanted anytime. It was just so, and that's kind of how Instagram used to be. And I find that it was easier back then because, you know, you go eat something and you just post the egg bookmark next to your breakfast or whatever. But as Instagram has changed over the years, I find that it has been more, I don't know, just people have been more strategic and they think about it a lot more. And so now we don't as often just randomly post something. We kind of think it through, and I think Instagram has changed in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the
and
algorithm
it acts as a barrier though. Like you have to. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say I think the algorithm also has tended to favor video over stills as well. What do you two think?
We have not posted very many videos.
Well,
so
we did.
Yeah, like
so we
reels,
wouldn't know, which is probably a yes.
yeah, that's a tough one because like video is different. You know, taking a photo is a lot easier than orchestrating something. You know, maybe reels is one thing, but like with the popularity of TikTok, it doesn't really make anything easier for Instagram. And a lot of people are doing TikToks and pushing it to Instagram, and there's all that sort of thing. But I think it's definitely a lot tougher to do video. So, and that's just the way it is for most people, you know, it's new business or old. It's not any easier for us here than it is for any brand. It's tough to come up with content that is going to be, you know, not just like sell me something, right? Because anybody could do that kind of post, right? And people don't want to purchase a thing. They want to like you, and they want to know you more and kind of know the people behind the brand before the product. So it's like that famous kind of, you know, they're buying the why rather than the what, you know? So
right. Yeah.
it's tricky, but I think
the pressure behind making it a good video, is that, you know, it takes more time to make a video.
Oh.
And so there's more pressure for it to do well. Otherwise, it's point and shoot, getting pretty things in the background and put it up. So I don't know. I find it a struggle to find out what's worth, I guess, the time to make a video, right? Which is why I have never done a video. Anna's done a few TikToks for Crafted Van. And so maybe that's something we need to look into more this year.
Diana, are you super active on the talk?
No, but I tried to be for little spurts. I find it really fun, but hard to keep up with.
Yeah, I think Etienne's laughing at me because I called it the talk. That's just
No
like
comment,
the old
but
guy.
yes.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's the old guy trying to be cool. Hey, kids, I'm calling it the talk, and I'm owning it.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone call it the talk, so.
We coined it. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. You heard it here first, here, right at the Maker Club. Woo!
Yeah.
I like that you touched on sort of, you know, not worrying too much and just posting. And I think as makers, I love to see that sort of content because let's be real, like studio life is not glamorous, right? And I love getting a slice of that in my feed. What particularly if we're talking about like video content, I love seeing like sped up process videos, you know, like time lapses. I could watch those for hours.
Same.
So there's maybe a content idea for you guys.
There you go.
Next video will be one of us in pajamas on a couch, just like speedily making bookmarks.
Is that where you're making these things? You're making them on your couch?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
I watch way too much. We watch way too much TV. Well, at least I do. Netflix, Crave, Prime, everything while making these bookmarks.
That's awesome. So do you not have a studio space? You truly make it in your homes?
Yeah. So I think, was it 4 years ago? was it 4 years ago, we tried out a studio space that was kind of near both of our homes. And we shared it with a few other business or entrepreneurs as well. And well, first off, the space itself was so hot in the summertime, like super hot and unbearable. You'd have to go there like 7 a.m. if you wanted to have an enjoyable time at the studio. Otherwise, it was like a glorified storage space. And then we found we never really wanted to go to it. Like it was more convenient to just stay in our homes or go to each other's homes and like craft together or do our business together. And so we stuck with that for under a year. And I think that was it. And then ever since, we've just been making and creating and from both of our homes. So this is the beginnings of one of the spaces here. I just moved recently, so there's lots of boxes, but it's a lot more convenient to wake up, go have a coffee, and then just go to this random room and work on your business than to make a trek out to a studio, at least for us so far.
So would you be able to give us sort of like a Cole's notes on the production process? Because I'm curious now that you're saying that it gets done in 2 different places.
Oh, Diana?
Production. Okay. Well, we used to do everything together. Like we used to like craft it so much and it took so much time, but now we've kind of separated and we both produce. So we both have bookmarks in each of our homes. But Erica does more of the wholesale orders and I do more of the online orders. But the process, yeah, we both create, and that's the best part of the business. Like it's so much fun.
Yeah, we kind of like told ourselves many years ago, we don't want to be like this crazy huge business who outsources all of their production. And because that's the most enjoyable part of our business is the creating, which I think most business or owners or artists like about it, right? So yeah, so we both have stock of our prints that we use to make our bookmarks in our homes. We both have machines in our homes, those that help to cut our bookmarks, which most of them right now are not working. So, and then we have like, the magnetizing, packaging, etc. So we just kind of gather our supplies. And for me, I like to just sit on the couch and do it. I don't really sit on a chair. And then, yeah, we just create, package, and stock up every now and again. So it's easier to fulfill our online orders and wholesale orders.
And we're so lucky because it's pretty much like we just can take it anywhere especially when we're cutting with scissors. I'm always like out and about making bookmarks. So you'll see me like before COVID, I'll be on transit, like making bookmarks or like at the park or wherever, because we can bring it anywhere. And so, yeah, we're very lucky in that sense. We don't need some crazy giant like machine or something. I don't know, to like make our, yeah.
Like a screen printing machine. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes up a little bit more room.
Yeah, you can't bring that on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd get kicked off really quick. So after you're making
and our product is super small too. So like everything, like with our greeting cards, we have bookmarks, fridge magnets, pins, like it's all quite small. So in order, like it's easy for us to have an area in our homes to keep that stock because it doesn't take up a lot of physical space. So yeah, I guess that's why it works for us to be in our homes making. If it was a big product, definitely need a studio.
That's amazing. So where are you shipping out of then? Are you shipping from your home and you just bring it to Canada Post, and what kind of shipping systems are you using? Are you using like a commercial system, or are you just using regular kind of letter mail, since it's probably pretty thin to ship?
Mm-hmm. We're very lucky because our product is so small and thin and pretty much paper. So it's just a stamp and there's a mailbox like 2 blocks away. So we're very lucky.
So we currently just use regular old Canada Post for online orders. And then your online platforms, if you have bigger packages if they order multiple items, you can print off a shipping label with Canada Post. And then in terms of our wholesale orders, we still also use Canada Post for our wholesale orders. And very rare, not very rarely, but with the bigger orders, we use UPS. So it's not some finesse system. It's just regular old post office and stamps. Yeah. So.
Wow, that's lucky.
Yeah, it keeps the shipping costs low for our like buyers too, right? And for the most part, it arrives pretty quickly. There's the odd order that somehow goes missing, but other than that, it arrives within, a week or so to our customers around North America. So.
And as long as we make it very clear, oh, we don't ship with tracking, then the customer knows before they even buy it that we're not going to be telling them exactly when they're going to get it. And so they know that and they're aware.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm going to shift gears a second. I want to ask you about wholesale and kind of going back before we were talking a little bit about stores, but what about like wholesale shows? Are you actually doing wholesale shows, or is it just, I know this is a tricky one because it's like, you could do these digitally. You could be on a platform such as Fair or something like that. Or do you prefer going to wholesale shows to get these accounts?
Well, we've only done one physical wholesale show, which was a learning experience in itself. And I think that we will never do a physical wholesale show again. I don't know if that.
We are a little scarred. It's kind of like your rain story with the car free day. Like for us, we have that story too, but for wholesale shows.
Oh boy, can we get into that story? Or is it,
yes.
Is it too much?
And again, this is our own personal experience, right? So like other people may love wholesale shows and it may work for them. But we did one in New York, and it was our first one, big jump. So learning how to go across borders now to do wholesale was a big learning curve in itself, and transport things like your walls, right, across border, figure out, all of that was a big learning experience. And we got some accounts, but it cost way more than what we had expected would happen in return. And so it was a big letdown, I guess you could say. I don't know, Diana, do you want to speak a little bit more about it?
Well, let me see. When we first got into this show, we were so excited. Maybe our expectations were that high. We're like, yeah, we're in the show and like we've made it in life. Like we're good for the rest of our life. Like that's kind of how we felt. And I remember cheering on the phone when we got the notification. And then we went through the whole thing and maybe it wasn't exactly as we expected. And so that's kind of how we feel a bit like off about it. But I don't know, like it was good though because it forced us. It forced us to build that catalog that we mentioned. So that was our like, it forced us to be legit and make a catalog. And now we have that as a resource for pitching to stores. But yeah, and we got really sick because we, right? Remember getting really sick after that?
Physically sick. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like we expected a lot more out of that show. And I think we were, you compare yourself again. It's hard not to other booths around you. And you're like, okay, I feel like I'm on par with the people that are around me right now. And like what ended up happening was not what you thought it would be. And I think a lot of people around us at that show struggled as well. And so it was like a communal letdown.
But there's
in the back corner of the show.
There's also really big brands there too that are like, you have the small brands, but you also have these giant like Rifle Paper Co. and Hallmark, and you're next to these huge booths that they have 10 people setting up for them, and we're like these tiny little booth, two of us, and trying to stand out. It's really hard.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was. Wow. So, but yeah, I guess that was one bad experience.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think, like, are we now at the point where wholesale shows are, I hope they're not going to hate me for saying this, but are they slowly dying off? Do you find that retailers, this is not the way that they're finding makers anymore? Or do you think, are they finding them more on like Facebook and Instagram with, digital life? And on top of that, I want to ask you if you are, what do you think on Fair? this kind of
Yeah.
wholesale, this new new. It's been around for a while, but to a lot of makers, this is a kind of new platform where I think a lot of small brands are getting huge traction, and this is, I think, a new way of retailers finding new makers. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole physical wholesale show thing is still alive, but I mean, it was not for us. Maybe it's morphed into, I don't know, maybe it should be morphing into just having those big brands there, because we found we struggled as a small company to stand out there. Which, yeah, speaking to Fair has been actually pretty awesome for us so far. We got onto it, was it last year or just before COVID, I think it was. And I think it's helped us find a lot more stores, or they find us, right? Because they look and shop online for who they want in their store in the States. So Fair has helped us get into a lot more stores in the US. And again, like you refresh your product every now and again on that on the shop. And it's not as much work as a wholesale show, I guess, a physical wholesale show. And we found we have gotten into more stores via an online fair platform than we did at that wholesale show. So
That's awesome.
and they're growing. They're like in Europe now, and like they are just killing it. And I feel like it's quite a good online platform, at least for our business, to get into new stores. So I'm all about Fair.
So, I mean, Etienne, do you know a little bit about this website, the Fair website? Oh, his camera.
Uh-oh.
He
He's
doesn't.
gone.
No.
Oh no!
He really doesn't know. He's like,
He's like, I'm out.
I guess he didn't like Fair.
No, he's all like, I'm over it.
Are
I
you
think-
may I ask if you guys are on Fair? Or?
So we are not, and it's definitely crossed our mind because we use Fair for the retail store,
oh,
Oh,
and
okay.
you know, for both Canadian and U.S. vendors.
Right. Okay.
So, and what I was going to ask was, you know, as a vendor on Fair, I think it's interesting that retailers can get terms. So how does that jive with a vendor such as yourselves that are on Fair when it comes to terms, especially with US companies where you're not familiar and you can't actually go to the store and like meet the people behind it and
Right.
stuff?
I guess you just I think we have, is it net 60 or net 30 terms right now on Fair? I can't remember, but you just kind of have to trust in the platform itself that in the end you'll kind of get your money for your order. And we haven't had any issues with that so far since we've started on Fair.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't have any issues with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool. And
yeah.
shipping across the border is not too bad too.
Yeah, not too bad. And online on Fair, they pay for their shipping, or you can have promotions where you offer free shipping over a certain amount. And again, our product is small, so you can fit quite a bit of product into, you know, a 9x9 box across the border. And it's pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And maybe for the people who are watching this, I know as, you know, a business who ships cross border, but can you tell us how you deal with shipping something across the border for duty and how these US residents pay duty on Canadian products?
You know what? To be honest, we have no idea what happens after it gets across the border, because you know you do your customs declaration. You ship we ship mostly with Canada Post. You put in what's in the box, how much these items are worth, etc. And I don't really know what happens on the other side of things. Do you get stuff from the US and you have to, I guess, pay some duties on it then?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
typically how it does work. But I just wanted to put that out there because I think a lot of people kind of don't know, do I send it as a gift? Do I say what's inside or do I kind of make it a mystery? And I think it's not as complicated as it really has to be. You just kind of ship it and just don't lie what's in it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And I think it's also important to like do the due diligence of going on the Canada Post website and checking the I mean, for the US, it's not so bad, but if you're shipping overseas, to make super sure that the items that you're shipping are not part of the no-fly kind of list. So there's, you know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So if you're shipping something that is a natural product, such as like a food or a fruit, or well, most of the time it's food based, but like natural products are sometimes extremely difficult to get overseas, places like Netherlands and that sort of thing. But yeah, for the US, it's not typically a problem.
Not too bad. Well,
easier.
the past maybe a month ago or so, we had to ship to Bayran at a bookstore in Bayran, which was like pretty far away. And the shipping costs, just to speak to shipping costs, is absolutely insane. Like I think it ended up costing $300 something to ship. It was the size of a shoebox, the product, like altogether. It cost that much to ship to Bayran. And so the struggle is, with at least with that order as a small business. Oh, hello.
Sideways.
The struggle is you still want this company to purchase your product, but do you give them a little bit of do you pay for a bit of that shipping yourself in order to get them to purchase that product? So in the end, I think we ended up offering them, it was maybe like $100 off the shipping price in order to fulfill that order. But yeah, shipping is just actually super crazy. Luckily, all of the rest of our stockists are in the States or in Canada, so that's convenient. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Etienne, don't worry, we could cut this out.
Yeah, sorry, I got a phone call, and
oh yeah,
you know, the SHIT just hit the fan, but I'm back.
I was convinced that your phone died.
No,
we were convinced that you didn't like FAIR, and then you just left.
No, nothing's off the board for me. So was that what you guys were talking about just now?
Yeah, a little bit about FAIR and just shipping, I guess, across borders and whatnot. So
you know, you're still sideways though, right, Etienne?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well,
we could cut that part out. That's okay. Hey, so we'll take an intermission.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, there he is. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Zoom.
Welcome back.
There's your beautiful face again, Etienne.
Yes, I mean, what's our first video episode without a few hiccups?
Yeah. Hey, I'm surprised
Right.
we got this far and, you know, nothing exploded.
Woohoo. Yeah.
So I think, okay, I'm going to break it up a little bit. And I think it's a perfect time for some rapid fire questions. What do you guys think about
All right.
this?
I love it. I love it.
They're easy, fun questions.
Hit us.
Etienne, do you have these with you, or do you want me to just go, or you want to tag team it?
Okay, I've got them in front of me too, so.
All right, you go first.
Okay, ladies, tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Always. Always.
Love
Always.
coffee.
Nice. Do you ever drink tea?
Maybe bubble tea. Bubble tea is also pretty. Does that count as tea?
Sure.
I think
Tea in
so.
there somewhere.
Oh, okay. All right. I
All
think
right.
I only drink real tea was when I'm not feeling well. So yeah, coffee for sure.
Nice. Okay, I'll do
Do
the
I
next
do
one.
all the questions, Jay?
Maybe
Okay.
we could go back and forth. All right. This
I
next
like
one is music, loud or quiet?
Loud.
Loud
Blasting.
and admittedly country now. Very country. Would
Like-
you even believe it? I don't know.
Like
I don't
new,
know, Erica, you look pretty.
are we talking like new country, or are we talking like Dolly Parton here? What are we talking?
Hey, there's a couple Dolly Parton songs that are good. No, I guess new country. Loud and new country. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Okay, Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah.
Should it be Facebook? Yeah. Instagram.
Erica with the big pause. She's like, I don't know. Okay, that's a good answer. I'm okay with that answer. Next one is print or digital, but I think I already know the answer.
Print.
If we said digital, we'd have to literally stop doing our company.
We're doing like e-design.
Print. Yeah,
That's awesome.
e-design bookmarks. There's people who I don't know if we were just joking about it, but you know how there's Kindles out there and whatnot, like making a digital bookmark for your Kindle to mark your spot.
Oh my gosh, is that a thing?
No.
No.
Can we make it a thing?
We should not make it a thing because it's always about print.
Fair. Okay, next question, and I'm curious because you're both based in Vancouver. Car or bicycle?
Oh, that's a very good question for today, actually. Go ahead, Diana.
I just bought a bike yesterday.
Hey!
And oh my gosh, so much fun. I'm so happy with it.
Right on.
And I live in Coquitlam, so it's always car.
Nice. Shout out Poco.
Yes, Poco. I live in Poco.
There you go.
He's so far now.
It's
Can't even
not
get
that
to her.
far. It's not bikeable though, that's for sure.
So Diana, are you like mountain bike or road or
I
hybrid?
got a
or-
hybrid, but
Oh,
I haven't
nice.
biked for a long time, so it's kind of new, a little bit new to me. I'm like, I was biking like very swervy yesterday, but
Yeah, they're a little tall, right? Yeah.
I need some practice for sure.
Nice. City or country? And I know you both
Suburbia?
live in the city. That's a tricky one, right?
Yeah,
But if let's say it's like a day off, would you spend it in the city or in the country?
Definitely not the city anymore. I think when you're, in your early 20s and whatnot, you like to go downtown and hang out with your friends, but a nice low-key day in the country where you have a nice view of something is always nice now. What about you, Diana?
I think it's that mix. So yeah, being in the city, but when you get to go away, how nice that feels. Oh, so good.
That's nice. We're lucky here. We're outside of Vancouver, so it's like I have 1 block away. We've got cows in a giant field.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
That's
you
so
guys are in
cute.
such a pretty province.
I
I
mean,
keep forgetting you're not here.
I know, right? And he's not your typical
Yeah, like-
Albertan either.
That's true.
Like, what would
Okay,
you
last
prefer
rapid fire
living in
question.
Alberta?
Oh, I mean, everyone here loves the mountains, and admittedly, the first time I saw them, I was like awestruck. But I'm a city boy through and through. I spent 6 years in Toronto before moving to Edmonton, so
Okay.
all
right.
yeah, city boy.
Nice.
And then okay, last rapid fire question. We touched on it earlier, but outdoor or indoor market?
Indoor. Indoor.
Indoor.
Yeah.
Indoor.
You let the
Why don't we get
boyfriends
Jay
do
to
the
answer that
outdoor
one?
ones.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
I like being
Outdoor
outdoors,
markets have-
but for markets, indoor, it's cozy.
And your products are protected.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Okay, I'm going to do a part B to that question. Big show or little show?
Ooh.
Medium show. I don't know.
And I know
I guess big show. A big show, but the little shows are like also a little more intimate, I guess. So there's the benefit in that, but I guess big show overall. Yeah.
they both have their pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah.
I would ask a meta question.
A what?
A meta question.
Oh.
Just because you called me meta earlier, and I think that's gonna be
Yes.
that's gonna be my persona on the show now. So just because I've noticed mostly through your Instagram posts, the emphasis on books and obviously your business model, Bookmarks. And I just think back to all the conversations I've had with people of my age and younger, not reading books. So my question for you guys is, why should people read books?
To get their heads out of their phones. That's why. No, actually, that's part of the whole reason we do Crafted Van too, is to bring back a love for reading and specifically physical books, because it's just so enjoyable to be able to finish a book, close that page, smell the new pages of a book. It's just an experience in itself. And I don't know, it opens up your eyes to different perspectives too.
And there's so much to learn. It's never ending. And you can find a book about anything, anything you're interested in.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Could you guys hear that train in the background? The
A little bit.
screeching?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's literally like train tracks 100 feet that way.
Wow.
That's what it's like living in the country, right?
Honestly, it feels like Jay lives in Narnia.
There's like animals everywhere, trains going through farm fields.
Oh man, we gotta visit you. That sounds so fun.
A lion. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I don't know, Etienne, what do you think? You got more questions?
Yes, I want to know about the balance between this business and your, I guess, 9 to 5s, because Erica, you're a part-time nurse, and
Yeah,
Diana,
yeah.
do you do anything aside from Crafted Band?
Yeah, I do design work on the side.
Nice. So how do you guys find that balance?
I'll go first. I work part-time as a nurse, so I do shift work. So it's, for me, I think it's fairly easy to balance that work and this work-life balance. You know, you work a few shifts at the hospital, then you have a week off afterwards. So basically my days off are spent, well, working on Crafted Van. And I feel like I'm able to separate the two very easily because they're so different. And yeah, so I used to work full time, and then once we started doing more shows and kind of getting our business a little bit up and running, I made the jump to go part time, and that seems to have been something that helped to balance out Crafted Van versus nursing. I still love nursing. I don't think I could ever quit and go full Crafted Van, but yeah, the part time life helps for sure.
Yeah, and I'm very lucky because my projects are all flexible. I also work for a craft fair, make a show, and I do design contract gigs on the side, and everything's flexible. I work on my own schedule, so whenever you can just do whatever, whenever. So yeah, I'm very lucky. Yeah, and we can't wait for like COVID to be over to host more events and just get to speak to people more. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the craft fairs, right, guys?
Mhm.
Am I
Yeah.
right?
Speedy.
There's a hole in my heart right now from not having
Yeah, how
it.
have you been adjusting? Because if you work for signatures, you guys haven't been able to have any shows.
Yeah, it's been a weird time for us, but you know, we're still chugging along, and we're expecting at least some fall shows to happen. Fingers crossed. But it's just going to be weird. Like obviously, I cannot wait to see the faces of all the makers that I love, even though they're going to be behind masks most likely. But I think the weirdness of like having everyone masked up and socially distant and all that, it's going to make for a different experience, but you know, it'll probably be ultimately familiar to us, and that's what we're longing for.
Yeah, for sure. Can't wait.
Yeah, it
Can't
won't be
wait.
long, guys. It won't be long. I think it's pretty close. Hopefully by fall, things will kind of slip back into place in some form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? Is there big projects on the horizon for fall? Are you planning for anything? Have you signed up for anything?
We are lucky. We just got the business grant with the government, and so we have all these ideas on how we can use that to grow our business. We have this idea that we want to promote, I guess, reading and getting people motivated to read more. And so we want to do some special like limited edition bookmarks and pins and whatnot to encourage people to like read a certain amount of pages a month or something. Yeah.
Kind of like, have you guys heard of Goodreads? Goodreads, do you know the app? Yeah, so basically kind of like that, but make it Crafted Van, right?
Awesome.
And every milestone is like, you know, you get a pin or you get a bookmark to show that you've read 25 books this year or 50 pages or whatever it might be. So yeah, kind of in the works.
Love that.
And we also want to work with more authors. Yeah. So
Cool. Maybe a book club or something, eh?
yeah.
I would join. I need to read more. Not
Yes,
really-
you do. You really do.
Yeah. But we have
It's so great.
we have plenty of your bookmarks over the years. In fact, my kid's absolute favorite bookmark from you guys is the big zombie.
Aww.
Oh,
The big
yeah.
one though.
The big one.
big
yes,
one?
yes.
The big one. He's
Oh
got
my
the super size one, and he loves that one because like he's got these he's really into chapter books. He's 9 years old, so he's a little older, but he's into chapter books. And he just loves it because it's like easy to find, and it's like his favorite. It's literally he's got like a shoe box with maybe 40 bookmarks, and it's
my goodness.
literally the only one that he uses.
So
Oh,
that
pretty
was
epic.
that was an April Fool's joke that we did.
No way.
And so yeah, we were like, let's come up with these giant bookmarks, and we thought it'd be so funny. And then we decided to like sell it to see if anyone would be on board, and it was a huge hit. So many people were like ordering whatever bookmark they wanted in a bigger size, and yeah, it was a joke at first.
I love it. I love those like accidents that turn into
Yeah.
opportunities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just trying stuff.
So-
Sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
Pretty
And it's
awesome.
epic. It takes up your whole page, like the ginormous bookmarks.
It's
So, like, how could you
obnoxious.
not love that kind of a bookmark? And it definitely does not fall out of your book.
Yeah.
No, you can't lose your
100%.
page for sure.
No.
Yeah. So what advice would you give maybe people in the same industry, stationery and that sort of thing? What kind of advice would you give on up and comers, or they've never done a craft fair before? Maybe they're starting to think about doing a brand of the similar kind of vein. Do you have any advice for that kind of person?
I think the biggest thing is like not to be afraid of anything that any part of it. Like if you have an idea, just do it and try it and see what happens. And just keep adjusting, and also like you don't have to be perfect. Like when we first started, our packaging was, you know, we were writing it by hand, and then we were like stamping it like one letter at a time, and like it was, yeah, we didn't have, you know, proper logo, business card, or any of that. We just kind of like pushed it out there and grew, and our business like grew with us. So yeah. What
Does
else?
not have to be perfect, because
No.
you need to start with something to be able to work on it and make it better. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's exciting. Yeah.
That's good advice. And, you know, even, I mean, Etienne, you could probably attest to this too with your line of work, but like, it doesn't matter if it's a product that you're doing or anything in life. It's like things are constantly being tweaked. And even if it's not perfect, you can release it and you could just tweak it as you go. I mean, we've had our brand for almost 20 years, but we still tweak things all the time. And that's part of just like
Mhm.
getting better, you know, and
Yeah.
just aiming for the best thing at that time. It doesn't have to be the best like end of the rainbow solution, but you can kind of work your way up to that sort of thing, whether it's packaging or a design or, you know, anything like that.
True. And I think having sort of a mantra of, you know, you never know what's going to happen, and by just getting your thing out there, who knows what kind of success you could see.
You can't, yeah, just try not to be too intimidated by it, because let's say if you're wanting to do a craft show or something, like you see all these booths around you that look amazing. You're like, shit, I could never, ever think I could do that. And that was us too in the beginning. And then all of a sudden now look at us, we got hard walls. It's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. You never know.
That's awesome. And that's such a great way to wrap it up, guys.
Yay.
It's
Thanks
like a
for
warm,
having us.
warm, fuzzy ending. That was really good. It's
This is the
been-
longest I've talked to somebody since COVID started.
Oh my gosh.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and you know, you're welcome back anytime.
Yay, thank you. We
Thanks
love
for
what
having
you're doing.
Yay!
Oh, how can the people support Crafted Van?
Read. No, you guys can. You
read.
guys can find us. Basically, Instagram is at Crafted Van. You can find us on our online shop, craftedvan.com, and on our Etsy online, Crafted Van. So that's how you could support us and to read.
Read a book.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. The more you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why do all of a sudden I started hearing the Reading Rainbow song?
Yes. Lamar Burton, is that his name or something?
Yeah. Lamar, I got another story for Lamar, but that's another story for another time.
Awesome.
Thank you
Well,
so
thanks
much,
for having
ladies.
us.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Congrats on all your success.